my lovely, beautiful Taurus. Welcome back to the channel today. We are going to be doing the weekly readings for March 25th through April 7th. We do 2 weeks at a time here because I like it that way and I want to do it that way, so suck it if you don't like it. Take your opinion somewhere else. These two fell out together for this day, so I'm going to read those as cards for that one day. So Taurus, you actually get an extra card in this reading. As you can tell, I have changed the camera angle and setup so that I can look at you guys while I'm doing the reading. All right, Taurus. So let's go ahead and get started. On your very first day here, March 25th, you have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. Now, with March 25th, we actually have a full moon happening in the sign of Libra on this day. And Taurus, if you did not know, you as well as Libra are both ruled by the planet Venus. So you have very close ties with Libra, and I would double check your birth chart and see what house Libra falls in for you so that you can see where this full moon is going to be having the biggest influence over your life. Regardless of whether you are a Taurus, sun, moon, rising, whatever other planet you are with Taurus, whatever other placement, double check where this Libra full moon is happening for you because that is going to show you your biggest influence at this time. Full moons can be a very exhausting time energetically because it is a buildup, a culmination of a large amount of energy happening on this day. There's a lot of energy. It's the manifestation, the growing. And so with growing can sometimes come growing pains, right? So some of it, you may find that you're feeling very exhausted by the time this full moon comes up or very stretched thin energetically. And that is more shown with your first card here, Taurus. You have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. So I'll bring it back up here so you can see it real quick. But I don't know how well you can tell here, Taurus. This card is a person who is working on an art project. This is a person who is putting in a lot of practice and dedication to their craft. So Taurus, you have been putting in a lot of work. You have been putting in a lot of practice towards one particular skill. With this card being Pentacles, it could very well be a skill for you within the job sector. So a lot of you could be working very diligently on some job training at this time. Some of you may also just be working diligently on side hustles. So something else related to money that's not necessarily your current job, but a side hustle that you want to build for yourself. While others are just working on building things, working on not necessarily just building things physically. Some of you could be physical artists or builders or things like that. But what I mean is a lot of you have been putting in, investing your time and effort to building something. So, as we said, building a business, building jobs. This could also be you building your home, building foundations within your life that are not necessarily physical foundations, but emotional foundations. And the 8 of Pentacles is kind of this, it's a little bit of like a stagnation of energy of like you've been working really, really hard and not seeing anything as a return for this energy. A lot of you could also just be feeling like you've been putting in a lot of effort and you aren't yet seeing the results. You aren't seeing the return that you were hoping for or wanting for with this 8 of Pentacles in reverse. So Taurus, I feel for you there. Taurus is a sign that is just naturally a very hard worker. They are associated with the bull. And bulls and cows for a long time have been beasts of burden. They have been, animals that have heavy loads that they bear, a lot of heavy lifting and pushing and pulling. And, they have a lot that is on their plate that they're trying to do at a lot of times. So just feeling like things are stagnant, feeling like things aren't necessarily building in the way that you want to see it done, Taurus. You also, for your next card here on Tuesday, you have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So a lot of you could be feeling as though this lack of movement or this lack of building that is happening is due to bad luck. Some of you could just be thinking that stuff that you've been putting in has just been going sour, So if you've been building or trying to do something, you may feel as though things have been souring, things have been going wrong at the worst times for you. There's just a lot of this feeling of like putting in and what for that I'm getting for you, Taurus. You've been putting in, but what's the point? You've been putting in and pushing yourself to try to meet this goal, but, feeling as though things aren't going your way at this time. Like things are just, you feel like the world's out to get you a little bit. Like things just keep happening and you aren't quite sure what to do about it or what to feel about it. But the Wheel of Fortune is also here to remind us that, even though this is showing up for you in the reverse, Taurus, this energy is still here. So there is always an opportunity for you to take this wheel and flip it right side up. There's always an opportunity to flip this into the upright, to take a negative or to take a thing that is seen as a setback and turn it into something that is actually like a step up for you, into something that is actually for your benefit. So don't lose hope on that, Taurus. There is good stuff happening for you. Your next card here on Wednesday for week 1 is Judgment. Judgment is about waking up to a new way of doing things. It's also about suspending our own judgments of ourselves or about the way that things should be. So if you've been stressing yourself out because you feel like you haven't been doing things the right way or that things haven't been going a particular way, you've been judging yourself, maybe judging these failures as a lack of your character, Taurus. Some of you think that this is your fault and it's your lack of character that's causing it. I want to tell you right now that that's not the case, that things just happen. And judgment is about waking ourselves up to this. It's the unveiling of the mess, unveiling of, the blinding that is happening to us. Waking up to a new life, a new world for yourself, and a new way of doing things. So I think a lot of you are having this awakening moment, this awakening of the things that you need to change, but also the things that are happening that maybe are outside of your control. Awakening to the idea that it's not your fault that it's happening this way. Let's move on. Your card on Thursday here is the 7 of Cups in reverse, Taurus. The 7 of Cups shows overwhelm. It shows there being an abundance of choices. Things overwhelming because you feel like there's 100 different directions you could go with something. So, for example, let's say you want to start a project, right? This is you with the overwhelm of thinking about, how am I going to start this project? What things do I need to make sure are taken care of first? Oh, if I start this project, though, maybe I should try to do this project instead with it. Or if I do that, then I'm going to have to go and do this, right? So it's just overwhelmed. There's so many things, so many directions that you could go with something, so many different choices that you could make, and trying to figure out which one is the right one. What direction do I take? I kind of know where I want to go, but also this area over here sounds really appetizing as well too. So the 7 of Cups in reverse, Taurus, you need to take a step back from making these decisions right now. I feel like a lot of you are making these decisions out of a place of desperation or trying to make the decision as fast as you can, when really you need to take a step back from making any decision at all. I think what's happening is that you need to allow things to come into you. You need to allow things to be as they may for a minute, right? Stop trying to put your influence into all these different pieces and overwhelming yourself, when I feel like if you're patient, Taurus, the way will find itself open to you. I do see here from the rest of your reading that there is a little bit more work that has to be done internally before this opportunity is available for you. But it's all part of the plan, right? It's all part of the process, all part of the way things roll here. So let's move on. On Friday, Taurus, you have the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. And this is about harmony. This is about synergy, things moving in positive directions for you. You actually have the 6 of Pentacles. You have the 7 of Pentacles later on in week 2. And then, of course, the 8 of Pentacles for your very first card. So you have this progression of the Pentacles happening within your reading. And pentacles are associated with earth sign energy. So Taurus, this could very well be you, your progression of your internal energy. Pentacles is related to the Justice card in a way, this Six of Pentacles, because it's about righting the wrongs. In the traditional Rider-Waite deck, the Six of Pentacles is a very rich person giving of charity to poor people, right? Or people less fortunate. Because the person of the Six of Pentacles, the rich person, has been in the poor person's shoes. They have lived this life and they know what it's like. And so they have this sort of philanthropy where they want to give back to others because they know what it's like to be in a place of lack. And I feel like the Six of Pentacles, with that, it's the rich giving back to the poor because they've been in that spot. Sometimes this card is about giving money, it's about giving charity. But Taurus, I feel like oh my gosh, my eyes are itchy. So it shows a sort of balancing of the scales, right? The rich giving back to the poor and giving them something tangible, something that they can use as an opportunity for themselves to do something better. And Pentacles, I feel like Taurus, this is your energy that you're trying to do this with. Some of you are wanting somebody to give to you, or are waiting for somebody to give to you and to help you. A lot of you are so low on your own energy and your own things right now that you're looking for a lifeline. You're looking for a piece that is going to give you this rebalancing. And, with that idea of balance, a lot of you are unbalanced energetically. A lot of you have been, putting into creating. But you're pouring from an empty cup at this point, Taurus, and you need to rebalance your energy because this rebalancing is what's going to allow you to continue to move forward. If you're constantly in a state of creation, if you're constantly trying to build, how are you going to make sure that you have the time to nurture yourself? If your energy's focused completely outward, outside of yourself, you're going to burn out. You have to focus your energy back inward so that you can take care of yourself to be able to take care of what needs to happen. So Taurus, Six of Pentacles in reverse, rebalancing your energy, allowing things to flow as they may, even when it's, a little bit uncomfortable for you to do this. Taurus, on Saturday, you moved to the Three of Swords in reverse. So some of you, this rebalancing, this, drain of your energy that's happening is because of a past hurt. This Three of Swords in reverse is something in the past that has caused you pain emotionally, pain within your own thoughts or your heart, with this being a heart here, essentially. And the Three of Swords is, this pain is still present, but it's not... It's almost like, I feel like some of you are trying to figure out how to live your life with these swords in your heart still. A lot of you are still trying to figure out, how am I going to move forward when I have all of this pain, when I have all of this energy that, something, I have been wronged in some way, I have been hurt or betrayed. How am I going to rebalance my energy when I can't trust the other people around me to show up? Or, and that Three of Swords in reverse, it's a time of needing to heal. It's a time of needing to take care of yourself. You still have these swords in your heart. You still have these, painful pieces within you. And, I just feel like a lot of you are trying to figure out how you're going to continue onward with these things still here. On Sunday, Taurus, you have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is conflict. It's also when I see this card, it's kind of like too many chefs in the kitchen, right? So everybody's trying to exert their influence in whatever direction they want it without thinking about the group, right? So if you've ever had a group project where everybody wants to be the boss and nobody wants to, be a follower or do the work that, other people want them to do. The Five of Wands is that too many chefs in the kitchen. There's too many people trying to exert their influence in too many directions. You want what you want, but, there's work that wants you to do one thing and family that wants you to do another thing. And then, how are you supposed to do your thing between your family and your work? And, You know, there's so many different things going on. It's kind of similar to that Seven of Cups. You know, Seven of Cups is like choices, but the Five of Wands is influence, you know? So everybody wants to do things their way, and nobody wants to sit back and actually think about, you know, how can we work together? And so, Taurus, I feel like a lot of you just have this conflicting energy of there being so many things that are being asked of you, whether it's by yourself or being asked of you by the people around you. Let's move on to week 2 here, Taurus. On Monday, this is April 1st, you have the King of Swords. So, Taurus, the King of Swords is a person who has great judgment. This is a person who has very clear thoughts. They're able to logic and reason very, very well. And they're the master of logic and reasoning, the master of their own thoughts. So, Taurus, even though things are, you know, painful, and even though you are trying to work out your energy, you have very clear mind and you have very clear willpower, because swords are also our willpower, right? Not just our ability to. Wands are like our willpower in a way. It's our willpower of manifestation, but swords is willpower of action, right? Not just manifestation, because manifestation is like belief, it's energy, but swords is willpower, it's action in that way, you know? So this is someone who knows where they're going, they know how to get there, they can think clearly, and they are able to make clear, decisive actions. So even though there is this sense of confusion or hurt or mismatch of energy, your mind is very clear, Taurus. So you know what you want, but I feel like a lot of this is kind of people pleasing. A little bit of people pleasing, but more just about trying to figure out how you're going to make all these things work because you're being asked to do so much. And the King of Swords is saying that your mind is very clear. Moving on from the King of Swords on Monday, you move on to the Queen of Pentacles in reverse on Tuesday. And as we said, Pentacles are earth energy. So even though your mind is clear, and actually what's interesting too is that this is a king, this is the masculine, this is the feminine. So feminine energy in the tarot, and it doesn't have to necessarily be that, you know, this is specifically females or feminine energy with this card. This can still apply to you Taurus males out there. Feminine energy is just about our ability to nurture and grow things. So nurturing yourself emotionally. The Queen of Pentacles is someone who has a very happy home. They nurture their home. They nurture their family. The Queen of Pentacles has this pentacle here within her grasp. And she knows how to be able to plant something in order for it to grow. She knows how to invest so that she can see a return. And not just a return of anything, you know, this is a return of her energy, being able to put into herself so that she can allow her energy to flow outward from herself to benefit her family in the long run. So Taurus, with this being in the reverse, a lot of you are disconnected from that nurturing. I feel like a lot of you have this longing for somebody to nurture you. A lot of you are putting in so much to everybody else around you that you just want someone to come in and give you a big hug and take care of you for a little bit. And I feel like that's one of the biggest struggles is how much can you rely on other people to take care of you? There's a fine balance between, we all need community. We're all human beings and we need community. We thrive in a family unit with, you know, people in our tribe. And so, you know, you need people, Taurus. You do need people to help take care of you. But I feel like a lot of you have this hyper independence where you don't want to ask for help. You want people to show up for you the way that you show up for other people, Taurus. Because I feel like that's a lot of what this is you're working so hard to please everybody else around you. And you can think about how to do all these things clearly. So you're like, why can nobody else show up for me like this? And it's a very fine line between, you know, wanting to have your needs met by other people and also meeting your own emotional needs. So It's a very fine line, and I feel like the line it's very complicated. It is very complicated. Let's move on, because maybe we can find this peace in these other cards. Your next card here for Wednesday is the Two of Swords in reverse. So this is lack of decision. Some of you may not necessarily be aware of a decision that needs made. Some of you may be aware of this decision, but you may not want to make this decision. And this kind of feels a bit, I feel like this is probably that point between the two. It's that balance between, how do I allow other people to meet my needs for me as well? How do I open myself up to allow others to meet my needs? But also, how do I make sure my needs get met for myself, right? There's that very fine line of community meeting your needs and you meeting your needs yourself, right? And it can go a couple of different ways. You know, I think we're all familiar with the person, we've all met a person who expects everybody else to take care of them, right? We've all met that one person that expects everybody else to accommodate them and take care of them. They expect their community to take care of them, and they don't take care of themselves, right? And then on the flip side of that same coin, there's the hyper-independent person who only meets their needs and doesn't take care of the needs of the community. They think that because they are taking care of their stuff, that they don't have to put into everybody else or take care of other people. So there is that fine line. Those are two pieces of the same coin, though. Just because they seem separate, they're not. They're actually from very similar places. The person who wants the community to meet their needs but won't meet their own needs is doing so because they are trying to, give the opportunity for their needs to be met. They need to feel that sense of security of their community having them. Whereas on the flip side of that, the hyper-independent side is someone whose needs have been continually not met by this community. And so instead of continuing to give people the opportunity or trying to get people to, take care of them, they're going to move completely the other opposite direction, take care of themselves and not worry about anybody in the community at all. So it's a weird energy. I feel like there is, that two sides of the same coin, but it's all from the same place of needing your needs met emotionally. And how can I expect my community to meet my needs? And will they meet my needs? Or do I have to rely on myself again? It's a very lonely feeling, Taurus. But I feel like that's what's going on, is that a lot of you have been meeting your own needs for a very long time. And you just want someone to help you back. You just want someone to show you the same kind of love you show them. Anyway, let's move on. Thursday, here you have the Knight of Cups in reverse. This is... Sometimes the Knight of Cups can represent a person, right? Sometimes this can represent a water sign, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, your 3 water signs here. But I feel like in your case, Taurus, this is kind of that idea of wanting someone to come in, wanting somebody to come in with this nurturing, wanting somebody to come in who shows you love and affection, who shows you how to take care of yourself or helps take care of you in general. Not even just you taking care of yourself, but showing you how to do it. The Knight of Cups, this is a person who carries love with them everywhere that they go. They have an overflowing cup of love, emotion, tenderness, gentleness, and overflowing energy, overflowing water, of course, because this is a cup. This is water. And water and the flow of water is very difficult. It can be very contradictory for Earth because Earth is very stable. Earth doesn't move. And water is one of the very few things that moves all the time. Water pretty much doesn't stay put unless it's within a vessel. And even then, it flows into the shape of the vessel, whatever it's in. So I think, Taurus, there's this piece that is missing for you emotionally, wanting your community to come in and help heal your heart, basically. Because the Knight of Cups, this can be a very healing experience. This can be a very healing person. And I think that, you know, a lot of you, your heart, your soul, your cup, your emotional cup is so empty and so low that you just don't even know where to start. You don't even know where to start trying to fill it back up again. Trying to figure out, like, if you are trying to figure out for yourself how to meet your own needs, this is a lot of you not even knowing how to put back into your cup. Feeling very lost of like, well, what do I do anyway? How do I do this? What's a hobby? What's a self-care, you know? That brings us to your Friday here, Taurus. And as we said, the Friday, we had your 2 cards come out for this one day. And this is very important because I feel like this is a little bit of that peace that you've been looking for. You have the Hermit in reverse and the 7 of Pentacles. So look at that 7 of Pentacles on the, is that the right? No, that's on the left. Your left. My left? Dang. Okay. Anyway, whatever side it's on, 7 of Pentacles is the one with the tree, right? The 7 of Pentacles, if you look at if you look at that card, that is a person watering with a watering can. They're watering their earth, watering their pentacle, right? So that is somebody putting in towards themselves. But then it's coupled with this Hermit in reverse, and that's a very tricky energy regardless, because the Hermit in reverse is saying that the answer to your watering, the answer to your nurturing that you've been looking for, filling up your cup, nurturing yourself, watering your tree here, Taurus, the answer is this deep dive that you've been avoiding. The Hermit is the deep dive into the soul. This is a person who goes on a spiritual journey. And when you are on a spiritual journey, when you are on a spiritual growth or ascension process, it can be very lonely because you're sitting here with all of this information that you feel like everybody else in the world can be blind to. You're wondering, why doesn't anybody else know this stuff? Why am I the only one, trying to elevate myself? Why am I the person trying to, go out into the world and figure these things out? The Hermit goes on this journey of the soul to find answers. They find the answers within themselves. And when you look at this card, I don't know how well you can see it, but when you look at this card, this is a person standing by themselves, looking in the mirror, looking at this reflection, reflecting on themselves deep within. So Taurus, you need a time of deep reflection, and it can be very isolating, this reflection. Or you may even need to actually isolate yourself for this reflection. So taking time by yourself, not going out with friends, not going out to, big crowded places, but actually like taking some quiet time to yourself to reflect and look inward. Meditation, journaling, reflecting inward towards yourself to figure out what it is that you need, what it is that you're actually missing. And with this Hermit being in reverse, it's saying, Taurus, that this is something that you have possibly known that you've needed for a while and have either been unable to do for yourself because you've been so busy, or been unwilling to do because you may be scared of what you have to confront within yourself. But this isolation, this journey, this growth process, this emotional leveling up is the answer. So if you've been looking for a way to water yourself, because the 7 of Pentacles is literally, it's the watering, it's the nurturing. That person is literally watering a tree for their pentacles so that they can receive a growth, receive a return. And as we said, the water is your emotions. It's the things that you put into. So Taurus, the answer for what you need to fill your cup back up, the answer for what you need to start growing again, is something that's hidden within you. And you have to go on a deep dive to figure it out. And you need to, instead of resisting the process, you need to accept. You need to move into it. On Saturday here, Taurus, you have the 3 of Cups in reverse. So again, as we said, getting away from that idea of this, the Three of Cups is community, right? And with this being in reverse, it's like pulling away from your community, kind of like what we were saying with that Hermit card. The Hermit needs to be in this self-imposed isolation. So I would avoid on this Saturday, avoid getting together with friends. Not because you don't want to be with your friends, but because we don't want to numb ourselves to our feelings. So some of you, I feel like, if you may feel the desire, or you may feel the temptation to go out and party, or go out and, you know, do something that numbs you from this isolation. But I feel like it's a temporary thing, and that when you come back from it, you're still going to feel lonely. You know, the Three of Cups is being on the outside of community, being on the outside of this group, and, you know, trying to make these connections and not being able to. And so, Taurus, I feel like, you know, firstly, I would caution you to avoid going to like a party, or avoid numbing yourself from these uncomfortable feelings that you're experiencing. Isolation on this day would actually be very beneficial to you, at least for a little bit. And I also feel like, you know, because we were talking about your community meeting your needs, I feel like a lot of you are kind of pulling away from that idea of your community needing to meet your needs for you. And that leads us, Taurus, to your very last card for the reading here. You have the Eight of Swords in reverse for Sunday. This is Easter Sunday. Oh, wait, no. This is not Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday was the King of Swords. Right. This is April 7th, Sunday, after Easter. The Eight of Swords in reverse is a person who is freeing themselves from their limiting beliefs. The Eight of Swords here, when you see this card, this is a person who has a blindfold on. They have cuffs around their wrists that is restraining them. And the blindfold is saying that they're blind to the things around them. They're blind to the dangers that they cannot see. And they need to free themselves from their bindings, free themselves from the things holding them back. These swords can be, you know, things that feel very dangerous or feel very intimidating. Things that we worry that can hurt us or cause us harm. And the Eight of Swords is us freeing ourselves from this. It's about taking the blindfold off, releasing yourself from the bindings, and, you know, moving away from these swords, because they can feel very intimidating. They can feel very daunting until we take the blindfold off. And then once we see clearly, we can navigate them. And you do have the ability for clear sight with this King of Swords for your card there. You do have the ability for clear sight, Taurus. So, freeing yourself from your limitations, freeing yourself from the way that you feel like things should be done, taking a deep dive within, taking a deep dive into your soul to figure out what you need to meet your own needs, and, you know, to move away from that idea of people needing to meet the needs of other people. I feel like is a big one too. So, Taurus, that is where I am going to leave you for this reading. Thank you so much for being here this week, and I look forward to seeing you all again in the next reading.